Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Ictric Studios, and welcome back to another week of the World Virtual League of Gridiron Football. This is week 4, which makes the halfway point of our regular season, and this is actually the first crossover week. Normally, in following seasons, this will be teams that, when the teams will play the team that finished in the same position as them across conferences, but this year, since it's the first year, it will just be with a team that's alphabetically across from them. Let's hop into the standings to see where we are at. Anchorage leads the Elite Conference with 9 points at a 3-0-0-0 record. Shooter Shoots are 2-1-0-0 with 6 points. Green Bay is 1-2-0-0 with 3 points. And Champaign-Urbana is 0-3-0-0 for 0 points. And then over in the Star Conference, we have Nashville leading the conference with a 3-0-0-0 record for 9 points. Windy City with 2-1-0-0 for 6 points. Pawnee at 1-2-0-0 for 3 points, and Golden Tate at 0-3-0-0 for 0 points. Now let's hop into the first game of the week. Golden Tate at Anchorage, where the Polar Bears came away with a devastating 26-0 victory over the Golden Tate Warriors. Dan Marino with 5 of 8 for 57 yards, Reggie Bush had 14 carries for 83 yards, and Chad Johnson had 1 reception for 13 yards. Over on the victorious Polar Bears, Kurt Warner with 15 of 26 for 161 yards, a touchdown and interception. Bo Jackson had 19 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown. Kelvin Johnson also hauled in 4 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown. Next game we had Pawnee at Green Bay, where the Norsemen came away with the victory 33-23 over the little Sebastians. Ryan Fitzpatrick was 25 of 40 for 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also was the only non-generic with carries, for 3 carries for 13 yards. And Torrey Holt led the receiving with 7 receptions for 115 yards and 1 of those 2 touchdowns. Over for the Norsemen, Aaron Rodgers was 20 of 37 for 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Then Dadian Tomlinson led the way on the ground with 17 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. And Jerry Rice caught 4 balls for 75 yards and 2 of those 3 touchdowns. Into the third game of the week, we had Windy City at Shooter, where the Gust came away with a 34-17 victory. Jonathan Crompton with 10 of 14 for 103 yards and a touchdown. Glenn Davis led the team on the ground with 27 carries, 183 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he also was the leading non-generic receiver with 2 receptions for 31 yards and a touchdown. Tim Tebow for the Luther Shoots with 15 of 30 for 188 yards, 1 touchdown and interception. Barry Sanders had 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. Randy Moss with 4 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Now on to the game of the week. Nashville at Champaign-Urbana. Let's hop into it. Hello and welcome to Champaign, Illinois and the State Farm Center, where the undefeated Nashville Nightmare take on the yet victorious Champaign-Urbana Otter guys. And it would be those undefeated Nightmare that would get on the board first, as Jerome Bettis would get his way into the end zone from 2 yards out, so they would miss their extra point attempt. Champaign-Urbana would respond with a 2-yard touchdown of their own, though, and they would also miss their conversion attempt, though theirs was a 2-point attempt. So things are knotted up at 6. Early in the second quarter, Jerome Bettis would rumble in for another Nightmare touchdown, this one a 4-yarder. And then after a stop on defense, it'd be Devin Gardner's time to shine as he connect with a receiver for a 13-yard touchdown and a 20-6 Nightmare lead. Though with the half coming to a close, Andrew Luck would respond with a 7-yard touchdown pass of his own, bringing it to a 7-point game heading into halftime. Though coming out of the half, the Nightmare offense would continue to roll as Devin Gardner would connect with a receiver for a 10-yard touchdown to make it 26-13 after they would miss yet another extra point. Though the other guys would respond yet again, as Andrew Luck would scramble in from 3 yards out, though it would stay a 7-point game after they'd missed their extra point attempt. But in the closing moments of a very quiet fourth quarter, Andrew Luck would find a receiver for a 10-yard score with under a minute remaining to make it a 1-point game. And instead of electing to kick it for the tie, they choose to go for it for the win, and Andrew Luck would connect with the receiver to make it a 1-point game in their favor. And that would do it. The Champaign-Urbana Otter guys pull the 1-point upset over the Nashville Nightmare 27-26. And in the losing effort for the Nightmare, Devin Gardner was 12 of 19 for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. Jerome Bettis had 16 carries for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own, who was also the leading non-generic receiver with 2 receptions and 21 yards. For the Otter guys, their only non-generic is Andrew Luck, who is 20 of 26 for 162 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception, and also had 4 carries for 12 yards and a touchdown. Thank you all for watching this week of the World Virtual League of Gridiron Football, and again, if you'd like to see the full non-generic statistics of every game, as well as for throughout the season, click on the Operation Sports link in the description. If you are enjoying the league, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Again, thank you for watching. Bye.